Hi there, my name is Kyle Marinkovich. I am the founder and CEO of Northern Diversified Solutions, and welcome to The Scoop. Grab yourself a tasty hemp beverage, kick back, and we're going to take you on a journey of how that beverage got in your hand and the importance of working with great partners in the supply chain. I'm Kyle Marinkovich. I'm the founder and CEO of Northern Diversified Solutions. I have over 2 decades of experience in the ingredient space, working across a variety of applications. And we really founded Northern Diversified to be an ingredient company first and foremost. We operate in the hemp space, but we are truly an ingredient company. We have a focus on food and beverage in those applications, and we built our capabilities so that we could serve customers in those applications with the best possible standards, service, and quality ingredients. We're seeing distribution open up in states across the country. And so really what we're doing is we're helping stand up that supply chain. Obviously, the emulsion, we refer to it as the hero ingredient in these beverages. CBD to CBN to CBG to hemp-derived THC. And we can really help brands target those specific benefits to their target consumer so that they can create winning products in the marketplace. We don't have our own brands. We look at our customers' brands as our brands. So we pull out all the stops to support our great customers and make sure that we're marching in the same direction that they are so that we can grow their business and grow our business right alongside them. Our whole industry in the state of Minnesota really worked in concert to be able to get sensible cannabis regulation, including low potency hemp edibles, which is where beverages fall in. That sort of poof explosion creates a ton of opportunities, but it also creates challenges because there aren't standards, there aren't rules yet, there aren't best practices. For us, because the business was built as an ingredient company, we have the same standards and practices that a conventional ingredient supplier would have, so that those brands can feel like, oh, they can have confidence in that ingredient and the services we provide around it. From an opportunity standpoint, if you look at beer, you look at wine, and you look at spirits, I think they're all down. I've heard craft brewers say, this was a godsend because it helped save our business. For the distributors and for the retailers, it's an opportunity to fill shelf space and get pretty good velocity and high price points. A retailer can have anywhere from 10 to 20% of their sales being hemp-derived beverages. When we think about the most common challenges associated with hemp beverages, we look at 4 specific areas. The first is testing, getting a test result that's compliant for the distributor and the retailer. And there's a number of factors that can impact that. The second would be the formulation. If you're not an experienced formulator and you don't understand the interactions of ingredients, you can potentially build a formula that is not compliant with emulsions. There's some real potential pitfalls that you want to identify in the front end before you spend a bunch of money on ingredients, canning, packaging, because that's brutal. If that emulsion breaks, you don't have saleable product and it's expensive. The third would be choosing the right packaging, in particular the can. There's a phenomenon called scalping, which is where the emulsion is actually attracted to the can liner. Understanding that, being able to coach the customer on that so they can work with their can supplier. And then the last one is probably the most important one, and that's partnership. And we touched on the partnership earlier. And having partners you can trust across the supply chain. So in the case of NDS, we're an integrated company. We do all our own extractions. We produce most of, the vast majority of our active. We're integrated back to the grower. And we trust our growers, and we want our growers to be successful. If our growers aren't successful, we're not successful. If we're not successful, our customers aren't successful. And so being able to have those trusted, there are suppliers to be able to originate active that ensures that we're delivering quality, safety, efficacy, and traceability. That is so important. And then we're kind of in the middle of the supply chain. And then downstream, we have this unique vantage point where we can identify who our most trusted co-packers are, and then which co-packers may have some challenges. And then finally, having partners on the analytical side, like SC, one of the things in NDS's core values are run to the problem. The problem's not going to solve itself, and it's not going to go away. And it's a heck of a lot better to solve that problem when you're a team, all marching in the same direction, trying to do what's best for the customer and what's best for the consumer. That is the qualifier for us and the people we work with. We put a lot into what we do, and our best partners do the same. And so that trust and partnership is a key factor, maybe the most important, because inevitably you will have problems. This category is too new to be set on autopilot. If someone's brand new, the new product development process, it's critically important to engage your suppliers early and often. But even more important than that, you almost have to be like a therapist in the front end. And you got to say, hey, you're going to experience some near-death traumatic events through this process. Don't freak out. It happens to everyone. It's clockwork. It starts with the formulation. So whether you are doing the formulation yourself, or you have a flavor house that's doing your formulation, or you hire a formulator, make sure you're looking at that formula with a critical eye, prioritizing the emulsion. Don't prioritize the other ingredients over the emulsion, because there is a fix for the other ingredients, but the emulsion doesn't have an alternative. I'd also say we've seen a couple of times where the brand did not own their formula. The formulator had the ownership on the formula. It never happens in the conventional space. No brand is going to say, yeah, you can own what's the most important thing to my consumer. Ownership of that formula is critically important, because if it's a black box, we can't go in and unwind it. Then, working with the emulsion provider, make sure it's being dosed properly, taking into account an overage for scalping, reviewing the packaging type. And then actually what we do for our customers is we'll run scalping tests. Work with the lab if you're seeing something in the test that isn't adding up. We'll go on site with the co-packer and help them through some of the more nuanced aspects of working in hemp beverages. Because if they don't do something right, generally the first thing that gets pointed to is the emulsion. More than 90% of the time, it's not the emulsion. And if it is the emulsion, we're going to be able to identify that. That's actually the easiest problem to solve. We have full traceability. We say, come tour. Let's look at what we've invested to ensure that quality, safety, efficacy, traceability, that you can have confidence in us that the emulsion's not something they have to worry about for their product. No one can do it alone. That's true in hemp beverages as it's true in life. Growing the prize collectively as an industry, that mindset is what's going to take us to where we want to go in the future. We want safe products that do what they say, and no one player in that supply chain can ensure that without the other partners that they work with. The trust that the brands have when they see their suppliers working together on their behalf, the difference in their, the confidence they have, because they've been through it, they know what's going to happen. That engagement and that dialogue is very different when they have experienced it and they've seen the partners in the supply chain support them and solve the problem.